Now, given like shows such as The Mandalorian Season 3, the Kenobi TV series, and the Ahsoka Tano show labeled as the most anticipated Star Wars TV shows by Star Wars fans, we also have a lot of other TV shows that have yet to have been announced that will be unveiled at Celebration, as well as a host of new Star Wars films in the works as well that will be unveiled by Disney CEO Bob Chapek. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do make sure to post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to also interact with you guys further. So the real big deal about Disney's new roadmap is that they are making it very extensive, not just with the new Star Wars films and TV shows, but also everything related to the books and the novels and the comics that's going to tie into all of that, and how everything is going to be connected. So basically we have John and Dave and even George Lucas working on what a lot of fans like to call the mandoverse. We have other eras that will be explored, such as the new one that's going to serve as the bridge between episode 4 and of course 3, that's going to include shows like the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show and spin-offs that are going to actually be pretty much branching off of the Kenobi series. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But on top of all of this, what's even all the more intriguing has everything to do with exactly what Lucasfilm has planned for future Star Wars shows and future Star Wars films. And that's the one thing that they really are trying to get down correctly. Now, sure, when you look at the Boba Fett series, that was a speed bump. That was a little minor issue that they ran into. You know, it was a little inconsistent when it came to the episodes. Some fans would even go as far to say that it was a very weak show in the middle of it because it spent a lot of time, you know, focusing away from the character of Boba Fett at times toward the ends as well. But I thought that it was a pretty decent show. It just had a lot of flaws in there. But on top of all of that, alright, with of course Luke Skywalker and Grogu set to return in The Mandalorian Season 3 by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it's described that currently creators, Disney of course, CEO Bob Chapek is not only focused on the new Star Wars films, but it's said to also be focused on the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works. Now further, it's noted that one of the major films that are in the early development phase is a part of the 4th Star Wars trilogy that is currently well into the works that will feature those such as Keanu Reeves and Jennifer Connelly in the dark side focused trilogy. Now, however, recently Bob Chapek and the Disney board members have been in multiple conversations with actress Elizabeth Olsen to fulfill one of the roles that are being planned for the trilogy as one of the new Sith characters that will be introduced in the Star Wars world. Now, it's described that Olsen had already agreed to actually star in this new project that will feature a very powerful Sith Empress in the series. One of the main side stories for the upcoming trilogy that is being planned is set to feature 2 rival Sith royal families that will be introduced in the Star Wars timeline. The Valar family is set to hold the Sith characters played by Keanu Reeves and Jennifer Connelly, and others, while another royal family is now set to star actress Elizabeth Olsen from the MCU to star in the first Star side character, of course, in this actual Star Wars story. Now, on top of that as well, alright, one thing that I can say about Lucasfilm including such a major A-lister like this is that this is a big win. It really is, without a doubt. And we talked about this lightly before in the past. Having a big star like this, such as Elizabeth Olsen, in a Star Wars movie really is going to help the traffic. It's going to help the audience to go ahead and see this movie. That's going to really open the gateway for the 4th trilogy, and how it's going to feature 2 Sith royal families. Now, we talked about this before in the past, that this new dark side focused trilogy, and yes, it will be dark side focused, is going to have a Sith royal family that's going to feature actors Keanu Reeves and Jennifer Connelly. Now, Jennifer Connelly, if you have seen any of her work, she did a great job in, you know, movies out there like Alita Battle Angel, or TV shows such as Snowpiercer, and she's been in a lot of other stuff as well. I mean, she has a big history of films. When you look at, of course, somebody like Keanu Reeves, I realize that there are people that are kind of so-so with him on some projects out there. I think that the guy is great. I think that he's a great actor when it comes to specific roles and how he acts them. You know, Keanu Reeves has his own style when you think about it, right? So, Elizabeth Olsen, alright, we all know who she is, Scarlet Witch from the MCU. Big deal, a lot of fans love her. It just makes sense because she's already affiliated with Disney, and that seems to be the common trend. Is that Disney seems to be getting a lot of their new Star Wars actors from either the MCU or existing Disney projects that they have been attached to, or people that are actually associated with Game of Thrones from the HBO hit series. That seems to be the common trend. If you really look very closely, I mean, Emilia Clarke, great example, Game of Thrones. You know, if you look at other, actors out there, they've also been affiliated with other Disney projects. You know, the fact that they're already looking at Rachel Weisz, Vice. Rachel Weisz is actually being eyed and has agreed to pretty much be the recast of Rey Skywalker in the animated sequel trilogy series. The sequel series, I should say, that's gonna pretty much expand Episode 9's story afterwards. And she was actually in the, of course, MCU as well. So you can see how all of this is connected. Now, on top of that, this new trilogy is described to not only focus on dark side families, but will also feature a host of new dark side secrets that will come to light for the fans to understand. Now, creator George Lucas is said to be calling the shots on the lore and direction of this new trilogy, and will be choosing who is actually to handle the entire trilogy. So far, Disney and Lucasfilm have a general direction of the series and what it will be about, and that a script is set to be written by this summer by multiple writers that will become a part of this new set of Star Wars movies, and how a new era is going to be labeled as the Forbidden Era of Star Wars. Now, the new trilogy will also include many ideas by George Lucas that were never used for Star Wars Legends. This new series will also dive into the origin of Elizabeth Olsen's character, which, by the way, is currently dubbed as Lady Empress. Lady Empress is just the code name for this character. However, the character is described to be a ruthless female Sith who worked her way up to power and will be unveiled in new Star Wars comics and books before the movies even drop. Now, Lucasfilm already has plans to introduce her and all of these new characters as well by next year in stories separate from the films in order to create a familiarity with these powerful figures in the galaxy. So far, Jedi will be in this new story, however, will be considered the side story of the trilogy this time around, and will be treated like the Sith were and Darksiders were in the other trilogy movies. Now, these new stories are also going to involve a brand new composer that will be similar to John Williams. So once again, I think the fact that they are approaching this by gathering a lot of actors and or actresses that have already been associated with Disney in one way or another, it's a very smart move, and they're doing this with a lot of TV shows out there as well. You can see what they're trying to do. They're already familiar with some of the actors and or actresses that are already associated with Disney, and so it just makes perfect sense. Even actress Olivia Wilde is actually set to star in this new trilogy, and she was associated with Tron Legacy back in 2010, I believe it was. And that was also a Disney film, so you can really see the connections once again. So overall, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this, because this is a very interesting turn of events to have Elizabeth Olsen as one of the new villains in this new Star Wars trilogy that's going to be unveiled in the coming months. And to me, I think that everything related to Star Wars, is just going to keep on expanding. So overall, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.